Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 4th of December. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And we're sitting on the couch today at the most magnificent house, Gary. Yes. We're at number 11 Sidwell Avenue, right in the heart of East St Kilda. I think we'll come back and talk about this property later on in the program. Okay. Before we get stuck into things, I just want to let the GPTV viewers know slightly something, a little subtle difference today, Gary. And that is we now have a bouquet of flowers in front of us. It's almost like we're at a wedding, Gary, but the real reason for these flowers is they smell so beautiful because after your efforts on GPTV last week with that filthy, smelly thing that you had on your lap, I figured we needed to spruce things up a little bit and actually have something sweet smelling instead of that foul stench from last week.
I hope the difference between this bouquet and the usual wedding that you attend is you don't take it with you, because Philip's often seen leaving weddings with flower decorations.
Well, I don't want to see anything go to waste, Gary. No, I've taken most of the cutlery and the tablecloth.
I've seen that as well as the wallet and everything else.
Yes. Let's get into the week that was, Gary. An amazing and dynamic week it was.
It was a busy weekend, Phil. We were all over the place, all over Melbourne we were, but I think we should review some of the properties that we talked about last week on GPTV. Firstly, I think we can talk about those 2 units in Brown Street in East Brighton.
Well, before we do that, Gary, and we're going to show a little bit of that, we're going to show a still up on screen in a few moments' time. This was the first weekend that I had an assistant, because people have been saying to me over the years, you know, Philip, you do a lot of auctions and, you know, you're at the peak of your career. How come you have to set up your auctions? You have to set up
all
the
downhill from here,
all on your own. So they've been saying to me I should get a roadie, I should get an assistant. Yeah. So this week I trialled a new assistant.
Yes,
a young
Swedish young girl.
No, completely above board. I tried a new assistant this week, an 18-year-old graduate VCE student.
Good on you.
He's come out from 12 years going through school.
He's come out.
He sat his VCE, finished about 10 days ago, and we trialled a new assistant by the name of Jacob Kingston, and we'll just show him up on screen now. Yes. He was out and about with me on the weekend.
Man. Bring on the next generation of Kingston, because the last one, goodness knows, not much chop. So the next generation, there might be hope.
He is the new improved version, which is not that
exactly
difficult.
Right. Well, thank you, Jacob, for helping us out. He's about to go and do that end of school thing and travel the world and enjoy himself and make his name like you did. So goodness knows you'll be bailing him out of some Mexican jail or somewhere within probably about 6 months. But lovely to see him don the suit and be there with Philip,
he cut a fine figure in a suit.
Now let's get into James Bond, Kingston.
Let's get into it.
And well, again, we do have a few tickets left, perhaps, for that
to the James Bond. Yep,
so,
absolutely.
You know, it's in 48 hours. If you get this version
Thursday
of
night,
GPTV, just send an email to
quickly
ElizaC@carrypeer.com.au. Maybe there's a few tickets left. We'll try and see if we can keep some aside for you. Let's talk about the weekend that was. I want to go back to Brown Street because we auctioned 2 in that block. We auctioned the middle one first. The price is undisclosed, but it was unit number 2, Philip.
It was.
Of which we did sell 2 at 10 Brown Street in East Brighton. Number 1 at 10 has not yet been sold. It was passed in. There was an offer
passed
given
in at 700. A later offer of $710,000.
We've got a bit of interest in that at the moment, and I think the asking price is somewhere in that sort of high 7s, which it is very well worth. So we hope to see you back there. Some other interesting sales, Philip, that you did on Sunday. You were in good form on Sunday. I didn't see you.
I had a great Sunday.
I heard you did all right. You've saved the name of the company in your own, mate.
What an amazing result, Gary. We had at number 9 Powderham Avenue.
You can talk about the price too.
822 square metres of prime land, north facing at the rear, with a very lettable and livable single-storey brick veneer home divided into 2, or purpose-built as 2. Yes. Now, I want to talk about this because we had a reserve there, Gary. Our quote range was 1.3 to 1.43. Yep. We had a reserve of 1.43, knowing that they would come down and sell pretty much in the middle.
Yeah, I thought
we had a tearaway auction where we had 4 bidders going hammer and tong, and we sold that for $1,555,000. Now, interestingly, about 5 years ago, when the market was really about at its high, we sold another block of land, same size, same side of the street, and we sold that for just over 1.5. So, in effect, that block of land sold at the peak previous price, which is really good.
You could call it a record price, and you get away with that as being an accurate representation.
Well, why don't you? Once again, depth of market, 4 passionate bidders really does show, as we've been saying on GPT over the last few weeks, that the market has turned. Speaking of the market turning, Gary, I moved on to a property in in Harcourt Avenue.
Do you want me to go and have a cup of tea and come back?
Absolutely. You just sit there and look pretty. I'll run the show today. Wonderful house. This was built by some very good clients of ours on 500 odd square metres of land. They built a single story neo-Georgian home, 2 bedrooms and a study, good entertaining areas, perfect empty nesters house.
Yes. Price is undisclosed, Mr. Boastful.
Okay, well, I'm going to kind of give some indications. I arrived at that auction, beautiful day, Sunday 12:30, about 150 people at that auction. We had a reserve of $1.4 million, knowing that the vendor was quite flexible on that reserve. We smashed that figure, Gary. We hit that reserve right out of the park.
Bang.
And whilst we can't say what the price was, it was so far in excess of $1.4 million that it's not funny. That's why I'm not laughing, Gary.
Well, I know it was a very good result. We can't say the figure, but well done there, Phil.
6 interested bidders there, Gary. 6 parties. Once again, depth of interest. The market, I'm telling you, Gary, the market is back. I'm feeling really excited for 2013.
I'm excited too. I think it's a funny market. You know, it's described as being fickle and patchy. I think it is fickle and patchy. I mean, other stuff didn't sell on the weekend. So
you're fickle and patchy.
Let's just talk about
scratchy and itchy.
Stuff didn't sell.
Fickle and patchy.
Fickle and patchy. I think it is a little bit, but there is some stuff that's going really well. That's for sure.
Okay,
and that auction, you couldn't even get in the way of that auction. It went well anyway.
Correct.
Who knows what I would have got for it? But
correct.
But well done, well done. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend upcoming, Phil, because we've got auctions over 7 suburbs. We're everywhere, and in fact, we are
the second last auction weekend for December, Gary.
Thanks for
So we've really
in.
got 2 weeks to go.
Okay, thank you. We are starting off in Cheltenham, Philip.
Cheltenham.
And let me just say, a lot of people out there would not know Cheltenham, Gary Pure Associates. Do you work in Cheltenham? Well, yes, we do. In fact,
we've had some sales in Cheltenham.
We sold one on Saturday. We sold a property Ramsey Court. We've got another one left there.
It's not Ramsey Court from Home and Away, is it?
No, that would be Neighbours, Philip.
Right.
Never mind. No, that's not. But we did sell one there on Saturday in Ramsey Court. That's not what I'm talking about. It's one coming up this weekend in Warrigal Road in Cheltenham. And Leo Samuel is going to be doing the auction. I'm going to go down and check him out while he does it.
Give him some support, Gary, some moral support.
I'm going to do that. And that's a fantastic property. It's up on screen now. Have a look at that one because we're going to be auctioning that one. And that's a pretty affordable property, an investment type property situated in Warrigal Road. 76 at 310 Warrigal Road, an interesting property. After that, Philip, at 11:30, we're going to be at number 9 Libna, is it Court Street? Libna Street in Carnegie, and I think that one we have got me doing the auction.
Oh, good, Gary.
And I'm working with the girls from St Kilda, Nikki and Lamore. Looking forward to that one. Terrific property. It's been going along pretty well. So Libna Court. Let's talk about what's happening on Sunday, Philip, because Adam Josky and Leo Samuel have been in my ear time and time again about this magnificent home we've got. It's at number 187. Cambrook Road. It's going to be auctioned on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. You're going to be doing the auction. This is a fine
That's a
home.
really good house, Gary. A really big 2-story glamorous family home. Perfectly positioned. You know, you've got at one end of Cambrook, you've got, of course, Caulfield Park. The other end takes you to Princess Park and the tram and Glen Huntly Road. I think this is just a really good, fabulous family home.
And where it's situated in Cambrook Road, there's a lot of beautiful homes. It's actually quite an interesting little sort of almost like it's got a boulevard feel down there.
Developed a lot in the last few years.
It has. Then at 12:30, Philip, you're off to 17 Lyndock Avenue. Tell us about that one.
Well, one of my favourite streets, Gary. Favourite because I love the position. It's a very glamorous street with some sensational homes, and we did set a record price there just last week with a sale of a property almost across the road from this. This is a block of land with a very lettable, livable house on it. Gives somebody the opportunity to paint their own dream by either renovating that house, Gary, or obviously building their dream fabulous family home.
Let's talk about what's happening after that, Phil, because you're going to be hopping off not very far to go, just down here to number 11 Sidwell Avenue. Tell us about this property.
Well, this is the one that we're sitting in right as we speak, Gary, and we're filming here. This is an incredible home. Firstly, let me tell you about Sidwell. This is one of the best streets of East St Kilda. Runs between Inkerman Road and the tram and Balaclava Road. It's full of really good, fabulous family houses, and this is a big 6-bedroom home with huge multiple entertaining areas, gorgeous swimming pool. This is a house that's ready for somebody to move straight into and not spend a cent.
You're going to get to have some lunch after that, Philip, which is a rarity for you in a busy auction weekend. But then at 3:30, you're going to be fronting up at number 1 Ayr Road in Caulfield North.
Yes, Gary, we sold this about 10 years ago,
When
I
we
think.
sold that last time, I said to my wife, this is like my dream home.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that house.
Yeah, in fact, I remember the auction. We held it on the tennis court. We had about 200 people there, and I announced to the crowd that this was one of the only houses that year that we'd invited both our wives to.
Yeah, that's right.
And we invited them there because we wanted to see a house that they would never ever live in
right.
such a house.
And they haven't.
And they haven't to this date. But this is a great house. Probably, I don't know, 50 square house, 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, swimming pool, tennis court, and it's situated on the corner of Kooyong Road and Eyre Street. And it's really the heart of the Golden Mile, a really fantastic opportunity.
Now, we don't know whether by the time GPTV comes out this has happened or not, but we're talking about an interest cut today. So that's going
Stay
to...
tuned.
What do you
Gary.
think that's going to do to the market?
Look,
Everyone will know by now.
there is no question that interest rate cuts as a generalisation push the property market along, and there's no question in our minds that after the series of interest rate cuts we've had, we've already seen a bit of change to the marketplace. So another one today, if we're lucky, will mean just another bit of stimulus to the marketplace.
We've got some interesting things happening on GPTV before we close the year out. We've got Jenny Coy coming in to talk to us. That's our property management department manager. Talk a bit about what's happening on the rental scene, on the property management scene. We've also got our commercial. We're going to show it next week. We have a cinema commercial. For those that are coming to James Bond evening, you'll be seeing that. But we're going to show it next week.
I actually got some feedback yesterday. I was at an auction. I was at an auction yesterday, and somebody came up to me and said that they were at the movies last night and saw our commercial. Apparently it's been received rather well. Apparently the director is taking it to the Cannes Film Festival next year as putting it in one of the most successful commercials ever been made. So look forward to watching that at the Cannes Film Festival.
All the Hollywood movie stars will be watching it.
There's no question. Apparently, Brad Pitt has said if we're going to make a second one, he'd like to fill in for me.
I'm sure he would. If he was only able to.
And the one that wants to fill in for you is that Javier. What's the guy from the villain from from James Bond? You know, the Mexican actor Javier from that incredible movie.
He's a good-looking guy, mate. I would take him as my substitute.
Do you know what? I don't think he'd be described as good looking. There's no question he's charismatic, and there's no question that he's got a certain look.
Brad.
I'm not sure that you would describe him.
Well, let me just say the commercial. There'll be a story behind it next week. It's interesting.
Actually, maybe Gerard. Maybe that's who should fill in for you.
I'm not going to say anything more on camera. I'm going to save my abuse for you because it's a family show. But what I can say about the commercial
Gerard Depardieu plays Gary.
What I can say about the commercial is it took months to make, and I actually showed my mother, and you know what she said? I don't like it. I don't like it. Didn't like it, so didn't hold back. So thanks for that, Mum.
Good on you, Mum. Good on you, Edith. Thanks for your positive feedback.
That's a wrap for GPTV for this first edition for December. We've got a couple of weeks left. Then we are still going to be working through, but not on GPTV. We're going to give our viewers a bit of a rest and a bit of time in the sun. But there's plenty of real estate to be sold. There's plenty of real estate to be listed still for the new year. We look forward to seeing you next week on GPTV. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Philip Kingston. Thanks for watching and have a great week.
Bye for now.